Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. This is a super fast review video. In addition to the older video, this is a fast one where let's go through it super fast. See if we can do this in about 5 to 8 minutes, where the older video was about 30 minutes long. So really fast, really fast. We're going to go through the Enlightenment ideas. Remember to review Hobbes, John Locke, Rousseau, Voltaire, Montesquieu, and Limp to Gouge. Limp to Gouge here on the in the image in blue was an early feminist who wrote about women's rights and the Declaration of the Rights of Woman and the Female Citizen. She eventually was executed by beheading during the French Revolution. This would be something that happened during the French Revolution, but would also have a legacy of inspiring other feminists throughout time and history. Part 4, poor leadership. The leaders were very young, not prepared, not curious. They had no vision. They were reactive versus proactive. The king locked the doors of the 3 estates, which was probably a big mistake. The king was reluctant to do tax reform and take leadership on finding that solution. And eventually the king made the decision to leave the country, which the people of France did not like. There are many other faulty decisions. We're going through this next section really fast. I'm going to show you the slides really quickly. The king locks the doors. Why did he do that? Probably because he was nervous and worried. Talk a little bit about Necker in the old video. I'm going to go fast over Necker here. Perhaps one of the things that made the mob angry enough to want to storm the Bastille was the firing of Necker. The Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, something that happened during the French Revolution, and this would have a ripple effect, inspiring many other movements of human rights throughout time and history, including the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, which would also inspire eventually Canada's Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's what the Declaration of Rights would have looked like. Women marched to Versailles. So the women wanted the royal family to come back to Paris from Versailles. And eventually, the royal family decides to flee from Paris to try and escape the country. This makes the people upset. The people see the king as a traitor to the cause of the French Revolution, the values of the French Revolution. And they see his attempt to escape the country as he's going to leave the country, perhaps, and raise an army, perhaps, and come back and stop the revolution. And that would be treason to the people of France and the values of the revolution, and therefore they executed him on the crime of treason. People, Marat, Robespierre, Lafayette. Marat was somebody who inspired people to go to revolution through polarizing writings where he advocated for violence. And in order to prevent a revolution in the future, having conversation and discourse that is moderate would probably be more advantageous to the extreme writings of Marat. Robespierre, another interesting character, eventually was considered responsible in part for the Reign of Terror, and he was executed. So, um, as they got rid of the king and Robespierre gained power, he ordered the execution of lots of people. And so they got rid of one problem, the king, and got a new problem, Robespierre, who was executing lots of people. And then eventually, of course, Napoleon comes to power, and power goes back again to one strong, single human being, rather than power being shared into multiple branches. That's one of the legacy of the French revolutions, is this idea that power could be shared into multiple different branches rather than one person. Um, and the problem with all the power going back into one single person uh, seems to corrupt the power, possibly. Lafayette, a hero of both the American Revolution and a French Revolution, is an interesting character. He was very upset that his father was killed by the English in the 7 Years' War, so he wanted to get revenge and went to join the American Revolution so he could fight the British, the English. He was able to use his connections to France to advocate for French support for the American Revolution, but he himself became a supporter of the French Revolution. The causes, evaluate which two do you think are the most significant and why. Okay, so here are some causes that you should know and understand and study and review. Historical events that set the stage: 7 Years' War, American Revolution. So the French and English spent money on these wars, and this bankrupted France. Part of the motivation for these wars would have been colonialism, imperialism, and mercantilism. And so these ideas made the people make the decisions to do these wars. The ideas of colonialism, imperialism, and mercantilism, and altogether, all these ideas and these events, these wars led to overspending, and that led to financial problems, which meant that France was unable to handle the crisis of a bad harvest and a famine. They had to raise taxes on the poor, who did not like high taxes and starving. The ideas of the Enlightenment were a huge catalyst to allow the French Revolution to proceed. Without these ideas, it's hard to decide whether the people would have been willing to move forward with the French Revolution. Inequality, wealth, power, and the lack of justice were all factors in motivating people to want revolution, and the famine was like a match, lighting the fuse that really prompted the revolution. And of course, there was the issue of poor leadership. Global impact. So, for global impact, you can do some research on your own. But as we already mentioned, Napoleon would be one of the impacts when he comes to power. When Napoleon comes to power, he invades other countries, and including Spain. And when he invades Spain, he starts a series of domino effects, which could eventually lead to colonies of Spain seeking their independence. There's also the issue of Haiti wanting independence and equality. And this starts the issue of the end of slavery and motivation for more human rights, and a slow process for countries to get rid of slavery in the Americas. Another legacy would be the progress on women's rights, especially with Olympe de Gouges writing about the rights of women and the rights of the female citizen. Napoleon also ordered the creation of a legal code which inspired many countries. The human rights from the French Revolution through the Declaration of the Rights of Man would have inspired many movements for more human rights, which would have had a domino effect, eventually leading to the United Nations, passing the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, and then eventually Canada having the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Separation of church and state would have been a big idea that would have come out of the French Revolution and the Enlightenment, as well as an idea of separating power into different branches. I suppose that would have also been in the American Revolution as well, where the United States of America separated power into the Senate, the Congress, and the office of the President. The reason why France is considered more influential in the American Revolution is because it took place in Europe. It had more effect on Europe, and there through Europe and the colonial system to the entire world, whereas the American Revolution might not have impacted the world as much as the French Revolution did. But of course, the American Revolution did provide a catalyst for the French Revolution starting. So they're all influencing more revolutions, more human rights, more ideas going forward about equality, women's rights, and changing laws. There are also some debates that go on that not all of the legacy, not everything that comes out of the French Revolution is a good thing. There's a lot of bad side effects that you could say could come out of it. One thing that's very debatable in Canada would be the Bill 21 in Quebec. So there's something called the separation of church and state, which in French is known as laïcité, which is a rough translation, a loose translation. It's not exact, but this is very a strong concept in French culture and French language, but they have taken it to a different level than other countries in France and Quebec, and it's at the level where by trying to protect some groups' rights, they're maybe stepping on other groups' rights with Bill 21. So Bill 21 is an interesting case study to look into about how it's affecting people in Canada. And of course, the Napoleonic Code, or the Civil Code, affected many countries around the world, including Quebec. So there's many different ways the French Revolution has affected countries of the world. Were there good things? Were there bad things? And what about Napoleon? Was he a hero or a villain? Did he help the cause of the French Revolution, or did he betray the causes of the French Revolution? What do you think? Thank you for your time watching. Good night. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you found any benefit to this video. Also, don't forget that I have other videos on my YouTube channel, including an older, longer video about the French Revolution and new videos being added all the time. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.